Ba-da-bum. Let's see if this works. Is it gonna work? Yes, maybe. Oh, it certainly says it's live. Maybe unlisted. Make it publish. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see how all of this work. Botwix has currently joined the channel. Should I ask what that is about? Botwix, best streaming chatbot for Kick, Twitch, YouTube, and Trovo. All right, that's quite interesting. All right, so it's one of those fun things. Haha. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I don't know about all that. But all right, so I guess it's going to be a long night. A very long Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
Here comes trouble indeed. How's it going? Let me adjust some
Uh,
things here. Apologize, I
oh,
got the sniffles today. Oh, fuck. Art. I
well,
almost said a bad word. That was close.
if you party with the Santos, that's normal.
Hmm. What? The bad words or the sniffles?
No, just partying with the Santos. That's the fun
Yeah.
part.
Is my am I lagging? I can't tell if it's me or hold on a second.
Flickering for the moment.
Maybe. I don't even know where the app is now. There you are. Okay, we'll see if that helps. We will see
Just,
if that helps.
just trying out to see how this thing work. We'll
What is
probably
this?
make it
Live? Something
famous to
live?
have it. Yes, indeed.
Oh, okay, I give up on this. I was trying to fix this stand thing and it's not working and I just quit, okay? Like it's been a long week. And it's only
Well,
Monday.
decided to join the whole St. Louis soccer theme. You know,
it,
it,
it's not even just that. It's just preseason in general. We have so much going on and Bryce is in Germany, so I got like, he's got everything pretty under control, but it's just you always got the never ending anything can happen at any moment. And so it's impending doom at all moments of every day.
so he's in Germany to recruit.
Yeah, maybe. I can't tell. I can't tell you. He's in charge, so who knows? Maybe that's what he's doing. I don't ask questions. I just thumbs up or thumbs down, and it's kind of how we roll.
All right, all right. So we have a little Lutz in Germany trying to work his magic.
I think he said he's going to not Bayern, which Bayern Leverkusen maybe. So maybe he's going to a match.
Right?
I could look, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm just a little too lazy right
Wow,
now. I'll tell
Leverkusen.
you later.
So yeah, so he's going
I
to
don't
watch.
quote me. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. But I
So
think he
he
said
might
that.
watch a German game. There you go.
Well, he's. I mean, it's kind of a given that he's going to go to a match. But I think that that's who he said he was going to go see. Um,
That's
yeah,
that's
we'll
the
see.
team to watch.
Yeah, yeah. He's a United
Yeah.
supporter as well too. So
Boo. That's that's another
you know,
discussion.
no, I was just saying. You've been wondering where all our alliances have lined. I'm still questioning my sport, especially after yesterday. To be honest, like it's rough, and you know what? I'm just tired of hearing about it because people got to remember that still like soccer isn't televised really where I'm from. So when I was a kid, I really didn't have it. All I had was me and you, like because that
Oh
was right
yeah.
around like class of '92. So I didn't know any better when I first started supporting United. So I'm having an
I'm just giving
identity crisis.
I'm just giving people trouble about it, but you know, if
That's
they're supporting like the bigger club, it's normal because
yeah,
it's Arsenal and Man U, even Newcastle because they had all these movies made for with
yeah.
them. Chelsea was more of like in the 2000s, so I, I don't really blame people if they like those two or three teams. It's
Right.
come
You
on with
kind of
it.
have to around here. Like, if you want to relate with anyone around here, like, they definitely don't follow like lower league at all. People around here definitely don't follow, especially like even where Junction's at. This is a whole new, literal whole new ball game to them right now. Like, they're like, who? US what? Midwest Bermuda what? Like, they're so confused, but excited. They're very excited. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I saw that you guys did the whole high school thing where you had the girls go
Oh
to a
yeah,
high school event. Yeah, so how was that?
yes. It was good. So next year is going to be really, really good because I've already called in some cool people like WPSL, USASA, and more. Her game too, of course.
Yes.
This this year, I unfortunately didn't get to make it myself. I had some family obligations and had to get that done, and then I missed it, but I wish I would have had a little more time to plan to get more people here for inaugural season, but that's okay. Inaugural season is chaos, we're the girls had a great turnout. We were able to get, well, not we, I didn't do anything. Mark did it all. They all did it. Um, they were able to get some of the girls out. So we had a
Right.
good chunk of our roster out there on the field with the girls and with the kids. That was fun. And they were at the U of I Stadium, and that's a super nice stadium. So
Yeah.
it was a
It was
really
in the
good
news.
turnout.
That was big.
Yeah, it was. It was really great. It was really, really great. And so next year, just to we're going to kick it up even further and show up and give these girls a good show out. And I talked to your friends about that high school show, that high school version of the Open Cup.
Yep. Oh, Champions
What's that
League.
called? Champions League. There we
Champions League.
are.
Yes.
Sorry, my brain's dead tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to him for quite a while actually. So I think we're going
Coach
to try to get
Jim.
that going
Yes.
here. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I guess so. That will be more on the Illinois side of things. So
Yeah.
that makes it, you know. And the girls, I think the girls is the next year, and I think they're going to do the
Mhm.
drawing very soon. So um,
Yeah.
I will be there. We'll probably do a live podcast over there. So
Sweet.
that's the goal, to do it, make it a fun event.
Yeah. That is it. That'd be fun. Like, and it's like, it just the excitement's already growing around the women's side, especially. Like, I don't know. It's really, oh, it's just something crazy, to see just all of it. I can't even pinpoint like anything particular that is sticking out to me as special because it's all just so mind blowingly like
Well, the
wild
premise
because
that
it's
everyone can play it.
and it's so hard to get into the WPSL in like year one and it's just outside of the fact that we're having a really cool like fun time having this fun big brand,
Right.
even if we were like still unknown, like this would still be super impressive at the amount of work that everyone has put into making all of this come to life. It's so fun because none of us are ever going to make money from this. Like we're a nonprofit community service organization. We're not getting anything out of it personally. Like I had to retire from playing in anything physical at age 23 from brain surgery. Um, I like to coach, yes, but it's not my favorite thing to do. So it's like I'm not trying to go and coach our sides, right? And let me tell you something, it's not like being president is exactly not stressful. So, you know, to see everyone's hard work like coming to fruition, like is just so warm, I guess. I don't know. Not good with feelings. You'll learn that I'm not good with feelings. I actually have my therapist gave me that wheel of feelings where like it starts and in the middle it has like happy, mad, like your main emotions that I know, and then it has like another layer. I have that as my wallpaper. Like I'm working on it. I'm admittedly not there. Let me work it out. But I'm feeling some types of way and not exactly sure what all the emotions are, but I'm not complaining at all. And I'm excited
Yeah,
to see what year
it's just
three
everything.
comes.
It's
Yeah.
just everything.
And we're
As you
starting to
know,
hear from like, yeah, go, go, go.
all it's saying is just pretty much just like us fans. During the game, you pretty much get all feelings from sadness, happiness, angriness,
God, the whole
confused,
roller coaster.
depressed, all in 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, maybe that's why I like it. It's kind of like theater, very dramatic. No, I don't know if you noticed this, but the soccer families have started joining in on the fun on X. Have you noticed we've started having some soccer moms of Junction players coming in and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
did I
yeah,
miss?
yeah, they're really cool.
I must have missed that part.
Yeah, it's been casual. I think I tweeted like one of them, but yeah, I'll have to drop them out there. So it's really fun because we like to be very family focused. Like that's what we've always said is we're for everyone, and it's really fun that everyone's really hopping on board. So you should like. I can't wait for you to come up here. I met your son. That was fun, and then now I got to meet your girls.
Yes, they're next. Yes.
Yes, and the wife, of
Mhm.
course. She wasn't there yet.
Yeah, we'll see when she's not working.
Right, crazy busy, crazy busy.
Yes. And that's what happens, I guess, weekends. She works weekends, so it's
Hmm.
all of us trying to stay busy, which is
You
not
stay
too hard
busy,
to
you
do.
stay out of trouble.
Yes, mostly. We sometimes find ourselves in trouble
I
during
was gonna
soccer
say,
games, but yeah,
I'm pretty busy and I'm also pretty trouble.
it's not that bad. Not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
So, so tell us a little bit more about the whole Kansas City trip, the Santos. Since I think that was
My
probably your
God,
first trip with this kind of experience. So we know
it
them
was.
by the stadium, and we hang out with them a lot.
Yeah,
But what is
you do.
from someone that's new to that experience, especially with them, and being
You
in
want
the
my like
car with
raw
them?
opinion? Okay. Hmm.
Yes.
It was it
Well,
was like so fun.
we've seen the video, so yes.
You have not yet. I'm actually working on one. I'm the worst quote unquote content creator because I never asked for it because I'm used to nobody listening to me. And so like I'm trying to figure out how to make cool videos and stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, I have so many drafts that are unfinished because I get so frustrated that I can't perfect it and I give up. And I'm working on that in therapy too, my perfectionism. But you get what you get for right now. But no, I'm almost done with one that kind of highlights
I'm
the
not that
whole.
good.
You're way better than me. You got that. I
No,
got.
I
I couldn't even hide
I'm
my bong. My like I didn't even fucking take the time to take the time to hide my bong or like
it's legal.
yeah.
It's fine.
Anyway, no, it is legal, and I don't give a shit anyway. My medicine card or my medicinal card. Anyway, it was crazy. It was fun though. Like, I went down the night before because, like, let me tell you how it went down. Okay, let me tell you how this came to be because this is why I'm so tired. One, the reason I'm so tired is medical. So my cancer that I had was thyroid, so I no longer have a thyroid, and they're messing with my pills. So I'm already like dead tired to the world right now, and like what you get is what you get at this point until my meds get figured out. I'm already tired, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a long day. I'm gonna have to like drive 2.5 hours to St. Louis, head to Kansas City, right? Damn, it's gonna be early, and so I was like, I'll just go up the night before. And I went and saw you at the city match. Oh, I forgot to say that, by the way. This happened so randomly that the conversation was just like Jack was like, he just said something like, you have to come on the Santos van trip. And I said, like, what is a Santos van trip and how do I climb on board? And then like here we are. And I did not realize at the beginning that it was an overnight thing. So luckily
Hmm.
I didn't have plans this weekend, luckily, because they're spent it in
Oh yeah,
spent it
no.
in St. Louis and Kansas City. No, but it was great. I love a last minute adventure. I think that if there's one thing I'm pretty open about is I'm pretty go with the flow. And Adam and I both love a good road trip. They're usually not overnight trips though. We're both pretty we're both pretty much like go to bed early types, but we can make the exception for like a good road trip. So when I got the email
Yes,
from
no.
like the Santos email that said to meet at 8 a.m. in St. Louis, I was like, meet at what? No, no. That means I gotta get up at what? Hold on, let's map this out. 2.5 hours from Central Illinois, maybe get gas in the morning. Like,
That's
no
five
way in
thirty right
hell.
there.
So, oh my God. And I don't like So I just like don't do. I got to sleep. It's a whole like post brain surgery like fibromyalgia thing. I have to sleep. I cannot do long days. So I went down the night before and stayed with a friend and City 2 match with you and Tom. That was fun. That was a blast. Um, then went on the van the next day and uh van number 1 was nice and chill. And then we made a no, first of all, back it up. The group WhatsApp started getting some picture and video messages, and the other van was lit. They were like dancing and having a good time. I was like, "What the?" I was like, "I'm on, I'm on the
I
wrong
picked the wrong
van.
one.
I'm on the wrong van." So we pulled off at a stop and we got tamales and people went to the bathroom and stuff. But most importantly, I had my first tamale. That was really
Mhm.
good, really really good. And then they fed me tortas. I was like, dude, there's nonstop food on a Santos van party. And let me tell you something, Mo. If there's, oh shit, my fucking stand, sorry, my stand did it again. If there's one thing about me, Mo, if there's one thing about me, it's that I love food. I really do. I love
Who
food.
doesn't?
No shame in my game. And they just feed you nonstop. And it's good. It's good food. Um,
Yes.
anyway, so after I got my tamales, I can't remember if it was at stop 1 or 2 in the stand. I'm about to snap if it doesn't stay up. There we go. Okay. There was 2 stops, and I don't want to misquote or I don't want to misquote, and I don't want to lie on air. So it was either at the first or second truck stop or bathroom stop or whatever that I switched to the party van, right?
That's where I
Then
was nice
it
for
was
you.
lit. That is where I started to earn my new nickname. I've First of all, you is
Mhm.
this normal? Did you guys like nicknames in St. Louis? Because I've been dubbed like
I,
so many different things in one week.
no, I, I, I don't think I've been given a nickname just yet. So I don't
I've
know.
never been given a
I've,
nickname like this. And now all of a sudden, all y'all got different nicknames for me. But finally, y'all settled on one,
mhm.
and that is La Chupitos, because they found out that I can just drink tequila like a champ. So, um,
Wow. So
yeah,
badge of
so
honor.
it's the I don't drink. Let me just I very much don't. I don't drink very often, but when I do, I very specifically drink tequila exclusively because I can just go and go and go, and like I don't get sick and I don't get hungover, and just a good
Right.
vibe and a good time, and it's just a good party, and it's just like let's go. So yeah, we were just passing around a bottle of tequila and like dancing on the van and like yeah, it was fun and got to the hotel, chilled a little bit. I am upset that there was a badass looking hot tub and I did not get to use it because it closed early. And I had just bought
Well,
a new swimsuit for the first time in forever. Hold on, I got a DM.
it's always like
Nope.
that.
Okay, I'm ignoring that DM. Hold on, I was ignoring that DM. Enos, if you're watching, that was you. I ignored you. Anyway, I invited him to this. Um. Oh shit. Oh, van trip, hot tub, blah 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 blah. Party back on the van. Went to the tailgate. Okay, that was cool. Tons of people, lots of people. As I've said, this accidentally kind of happened to me, and I am very much an introvert. So Saturday was a lot for me, a lot for me. It was great. I'm not complaining, but also like I just can't help that. I mean, I had cancer right before the pandemic. Like I literally caught COVID while I got surgery to remove my thyroid. Like I in the hospital. Like I've been inside for how many years now? It's what year is it even? 2024, and that was what 2020. So 4 years. Like I'm just kind of now emerging from the surface, so to speak. Like yeah, I do all this cool work internationally, but it's like remote. I'm not going anywhere, so
No,
I'm
yep.
just now
Nobody's going
starting to
anywhere.
people and yeah, starting to people and I love it, but it's like to go 2 weeks in a row of a lot of people has been like very exhausting in the best ways because you know me, go big or go home. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, then first of all, no, First of all, okay. I
Uh-oh.
admittedly I need to stop saying that nobody warned me because the truth is half the time I don't read the emails. There probably was some communication about how far we walked from the parking lot to the match, but
Yeah,
I missed that
yeah,
somewhere. I
yeah. That it
mean, it
that's
wasn't
that's
bad, but
that's
like,
the joke.
heads up,
That's the
maybe I
joke
need to
that
be more
it's
mindful.
pretty much a parking lot. So you
That
do
was
have to
ridiculous.
walk compared to what we're accustomed to.
That was just ridiculous. Oh, no, actually, it wasn't horribly bad, but yeah, and in the match, that was fun, came back, equalized, left with a point, obviously better than a loss. So we'll take it.
Yep. And it was
Um,
a hard fought battle.
and then I fucking wasted a lot. Sorry, then I freaking wasted a lot of money on an Uber because Jack told me that both vans were going back to the hotel and I had a migraine. So I went to the closest van, which is the one that had my purse that had my Tylenol in it.
Uh-oh.
And then that one went to the bar. It went downtown. I was
Oh.
like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So
So,
was that a
no,
Abby forgot or that was
no, that was
miscommunication?
Jack. That was Jack. I specifically was like, hey, what's the plan? Because here's the thing is I forgot to tell them I was switching vans, or I thought I did,
Mhm.
or at the very first stop. When-
Doesn't sound like it.
so like we were off and gone, and Jack's like, "Where are you at?" And we're like, on the road." I promise you, I thought I told somebody, but whatever. It was a long day. It was 420. I celebrate the holiday very heavily. I love tequila. It was flowing. Um, it is what it is. It was good vibes. That's what it's about. So yeah, we got to
Oh
KC,
yes.
had the match. It was great. First of all, what in the hell, Kansas
Uh-oh.
City, is your abomination of hot dogs? Disgusting. Inedible. You didn't even have the three, if you want to call them basic condiments of a ballpark hot dog that
Mhm.
is ketchup, mustard, and relish. And I will give it to you that yeah, you were out of mustard, but keep that shit in stock. Sorry, you got me at what time is
Yeah,
it, Mo?
well that
You're after 10. You're getting Abby like unfiltered at this point. My Mondays are crazy.
oh no, yeah,
I cut
there's
everyone
no.
off on the weekend. Mondays are long. I just got off the Midwest Premier League meeting right before I went to McDonald's and got some
Mhm.
nugs, and I hopped on here. I haven't even finished the nugs yet. Okay, back to
And I
back to the
yes,
match.
and I've heard that there was quite a few people too that said I guess their tater tots looked like they were frozen and unflavored
I
food.
didn't
So
even their concessions like yeah, I even looked at like their barbecue one because they had different like themes. They had a pizza one, looked like garbage. They had a barbecue one. I'm like, okay, love barbecue. Looked like garbage. Their hot dogs. Now I'm spoiled because Chicago hot dogs, you can't beat them. I'm sorry, you can't. But as a basic white girl who loves fall, I love a hot dog over a campfire. But I've always loved a hot dog over a campfire because I'm a country kid and that's what we do in the summers. So I just love ketchup, mustard, and relish, and I'm cool with that. But they couldn't even provide the three freaking basic minimum condiments for a hot dog in a ballpark. And then they want to charge you, I think it was $12. 12 no, no, no,
mm-mm,
no. Maybe it was more. I don't know. It was minimum of
mm-mm,
$12 for a shit ass hot dog, and you couldn't even provide the bare minimum three condiments. Are you kidding me, Kansas
no,
City? Get out of
no.
here. MLS is such a scam. You can't even provide decent freaking concessions in these big old fancy stadiums. Oh, cool, you got the
Oh,
fireworks.
but
Oh, cool, you got the
city,
lights on your
we
but you can't freaking get you some good concessions. Get out of here. To be fair, I didn't get to experience cities yet. I will judge those later.
yeah, you haven't, but yes, they um, we ours is top notch. Let's just say I think
I wouldn't doubt it.
the game,
At your stadium,
yes,
I was super impressed, hella impressed. That was my first time there.
yes, and you just saw CD too. So once you see the
Mhm.
CD, that's a whole another thing. And
Yeah.
I think last time I had was the brisket mac and cheese, and I think it was like $17. And that one, it is your, it is amazing. I have to have it at least every other game.
I'm gonna tell you something though. I'm gonna be really, really, really judgmental about that. Because let me tell you, my very first podcast appearance ever,
Hmm.
I promised good concessions at a Junction FC match. Because, as I said at the beginning of this, when I hopped on, I love food. And one of my favorite foods is mac and cheese with barbecue on it. Also, I'm very picky about my meats because I'm from a beef farm family. We have our own cows. My grandma names at least one out of the batch Buddy almost every year, and we pet them because if you treat them with love, they taste better. It's true, and it's science. I was raised in 4-H, and I did like a whole thing on it. Anyway, I'm picky about my meat. I'm picky about my barbecue.
No,
I'm
it's
not
top
super impressed
notch.
by it. Is? Are you sure?
It is, yes.
For
It is.
stadium barbecue and mac and
Yes.
cheese.
Yes.
Hmm.
Ours, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to be the judge of that, to be honest. So,
You will come
for
back for it.
what price point though? That's ridiculous.
I
That's
believe
why
it was
MLS is a sham,
17.
bro. Come down to
Well,
lower league. We don't
it
rip
is
you
pretty
off,
much
man.
it is pretty much stadium, higher
Yeah,
stadium prices.
yeah. And guess what? It's an American thing.
But at least our the food that we have there is worth the
It
price
better be.
versus to buying
It
a
better
hot
be.
dog. Even though you can buy a stack of hot dog at the store for $8-9.
Where are you buying hot
So
dogs? The hell? How many hot dogs do you get for $8-9?
I don't
Oh,
know.
let me tell you
Isn't
something
it
about hot
what it
dogs.
costs?
No. Okay, I know that hot dogs are nasty and I prefer to this is one of my toxic traits, Mo. One of my toxic traits is
Yeah.
that sometimes when I really, really love something, I pretend to not know how harmful it is. The difference between me and other human beings is that I don't do that with things that violate other people. I just do that with things like hot dogs. Hot dogs are disgusting, but they're my one of my favorite foods. How many packs? Wait,
We eat kosher hot dog. So
yeah, but
it's the
still,
animals are treated better.
how many comes in $8-9 hot dog pack?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe I may
Is that
have
like a dozen?
underestimated the
10?
price of it.
Kosher. Okay,
I
so
don't know.
kosher, like 10 kosher hot dogs here. Kosher, maybe you are up about $6 or so. Hot dogs.
Okay, so
You can get a whole jumbo pack of hot dogs for 99 cents at Save a Lot. And that's like
yeah,
24 big hot dogs. They taste like crap.
yeah,
I'm just saying you can get them technically.
yeah. We try to a more human like you know
Hmm.
food. You won't get that for 99 cents.
My toxic trait also is that I would totally, totally, totally be a vegan, except I really, really love like steak and red meat from being a beef kid. Like,
There's
because when
nothing
you
wrong
have
with
your
that.
own cows, like you always have like it's a staple. Like beef is in almost everything. When you
Yeah,
literally raise like your family raises your cows, like come on, like and I did like so
there's
my
nothing wrong
son
with it.
no. And I'm actually I'm anemic, and I always have been. I now since cancer, I've especially struggled. I have to get infusions and everything, for like iron and some other levels. But I've always had to get iron infusions. So red meat has always been like important in my diet too. So it's been nice to get
Nothing
because
wrong
it
with
gets
that.
expensive nowadays. So to be able to
Oh
just
yes.
get it at a much cheaper cost and to know where it came from because it quite literally got raised like on my family's land, like in our barn, like like we know where it came from and it's much cheaper. And so yeah, but my son, he's allergic to eggs, and when he was a baby he was also allergic to dairy, and I nursed him, and so I had to alter my diet, so I ate a vegan diet for
Mm.
for a year, and it was like
That's
the
rough.
best I ever felt. So I totally would eat, like, I would totally go vegan. I just really love red meat.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So now, so I think even the last interview, I don't think we had. I had the chance to ask you though.
Oh man.
Growing up watching soccer, like who were who was your idol? Who you
I
almost wanted to be like or better.
honestly, I didn't have it. I didn't have it. Um, so
No,
my parents were in high school when they had me. They were like 15, 16-ish years old-ish, whatever. Um,
right,
so I kind of did not have your traditional childhood. Um, and when you're raised by a bunch of children, um, it is what it is. But I was a
yeah,
multi-sport athlete growing up. Actually, I was very, 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 very good at basketball. I my brain, I'm neurospicy. I got ADHD, and people hate on it, but look at me, because that's what makes me like great at organizing events and all this stuff. So I'm very mathematical. So basketball, I was very strong in. I could see, like, with my brain, what arch I needed to shoot, and then also I could use the backboard, and I could see mathematically, like, the angle that I needed to make the ball bounce to go into the rim. And so, like, I was a very, very strong player in basketball. Um, and That's kind of what I was forced into. So my dad, we're not going to get too much into it because it's toxic, but my dad, he was known and is known for being very toxic. He would get kicked out, not just for yelling at the refs, the coaches, but the players, the other teams, like us kids. Just not a healthy environment, right? So um, I grew up mostly. I we did Even if I wanted to have soccer, though, by the way, even if and I did want it. So let's not say even if I did want to, even if it was available on our local networks. Like, it wasn't.
right.
There was no option. I My first big exposure to soccer was like David Beckham, like the big faces of the class of 92. And I didn't I I really had to do a lot of self-education on the game. And that is how I ended up going, like, I shot my shot with college coaches, and I slid into their emails, and I was just like, "Hey, look, I come from a place that's extremely anti-soccer. It's toxic still to this day. Actually, we won't get into that, but, like, I said I wasn't given a chance. I said I've played where I could, guest played here and there. I said I've never played a formal club game in my life. I said I've never played a competitive game in my life except as a guest player, here and there. But I've worked my ass off, and I've tried, and I've studied, and I want it. And all I want is to just be able to train with the team." So I shot,
That's fair. That's
not
fair.
worded like that, right? Not worded just like that. Young Abby was uh, much different. I'm sure it was even more messy than I would have made it now. But um, I just, a coach at at college took a shot on me, and not only did I go, but I went on scholarship, and then I worked, and I was running my miles in less than 5 minutes, and I was found myself as a starter. So I
And the rest
honestly,
were history, huh?
yeah, I mean, and then I was done because life took a turn, and then I had to retire after brain surgery at age 23, and that's when I got into by the time I had brain surgery, I already gotten into pro sports and met Adam, and we were in baseball, and then even in basketball by then, even. Um, and just kind of focused on the other side of things, and then life went a little crazy, and grown up life, and dabbled back in the entertainment industry here and there, and had some adventures with soccer here and there on like an admin operational level. Um, but I really never, yeah, I just kind of had myself and bend it like Beckham. And
Okay.
occasionally on Easter, ironically, was the holiday that always would show a Man United game. Easter would always show a
Yeah.
Man United game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty much like a tradition in you
yeah,
like it's in England. It's pretty much Boxing Day, where the first two
hmm
weeks after Christmas and New Year, that's like that's pretty much like the busiest time of
hmm
soccer, because it's all congested. I think almost every 3 days I think they're play during
yeah.
Christmas and the New Year. So
Yeah, I got to
that's
spend
surprising
Christmas
about it.
over in the UK, so that was really fun. So, but yeah, I mean, man, I got to see, and that was if I got the TV. My family didn't want to watch soccer, and I come from a very, we again won't get into it, but even actively right now to this day, abusive family. Like, so, um, I was always the black sheep for being this, who you see. So if there's something wrong with this, then fine. But whatever. So I never got to see, I never got access, and I think that's why I kind of worked so hard to bring this all to fruition, more out of spite than anything, honestly. So show them that
Well,
you guys tried to keep me back, and nah, it's not how I roll. I'm a winner,
everybody has
baby.
their own motivation, right?
I'm a
And
winner.
look at you now, have your own soccer club,
I'm a
right?
winner. And now, no kid in Central Illinois is ever going to have to freaking fight like I did. If they want to play, we're probably going to have at least some opportunity for them to train, bare minimum. I can't give away
Right.
secrets right now because a lot of that dabbles into like my personal career, and so I can't speak about it, NDA stuff like that. But there are going to be a
Oh,
lot of really cool things that are like, even just for the community and just like recreational level. And I got Yimmy working on a little project with me to make pretty much on demand pretty training to anyone could be a soccer coach at a recreational level. It will make the game so much more accessible. Um, and there are some things out there like that, but this one particular app that I'm bringing to the market, and it's not under NDA, it's called Super Coach. It's out of Sweden and it's massive, but we're specifically right now studying it to. My job is to, the American soccer market is, as you know, much different than anywhere else in the world. So our job is right now working on that. We're playing with it and seeing how best to tailor it to the American market. But it's actually a really, really cool tool on multiple platforms. It's used by the Swedish Soccer Federation. It's used by a lot, not just Swedish, a bunch of
yeah, I
clubs.
think I
But
know.
ultimately, what it
I
is
think I know who you're talking about.
so it's a
Yeah,
grid-based
I know
format.
that app.
Yeah, it's a grid-based format. So you don't need a pitch. You need a ball and like four things to mark your corners, right? Um,
Mhm.
and there's trainings within it, and then what makes it unique is there's videos that not only just show you how to do it, but what I love as a nerd and a philo math, which means lover of learning, like it tells you all the whys. It will tell you not only that, when you're receiving a pass, you need to have your foot at X angle, whatever, depending on what you're doing. And then it'll say because, and it'll tell like why it's so important that you nail that technique, right? And then that app, the parents have access to it, the players have access to it. Right now it's tailored to a youth level. It's really cool. They have like goalkeeper specific within it. They have individual training, but it has some other kind of unique methods in there. But it's really going to be cool and game changing to make recreational programs
Well,
so much easier because if you think about it systemically, when you think about access to the game for kids like me, here in America, our issues here is or here in America, here in Central Illinois, our issue here is if we want to rely, which we need to actually, so not want to, we need to rely on volunteer parent facilitators, like on match days or on depend some leagues with some leagues just in general, right? parents here don't know anything about soccer because no one here does. Right? So like what Supercoach
They
does
can help
essentially.
with other things.
No, 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 no. This is yes, yes, no, no. Trust me, I know. I'm talking about large term of creating competitive players and players that want to go on outside of just playing for fun and I'm not saying that. I'm talking from the basis of ground up, structural, technical aspect, technical playing, technical skills, that kind of training, that kind of coaching, where typically you're going to get specific skill sets from a coach that has been trained to be a coach or that has been in the industry or has had some sort of experience in soccer as a fan, as a, you know, for example, to this day, the program here in my town, I've offered my U.S. soccer license services to them since I was a freaking, well, I wasn't a U.S. soccer license when I was a youth myself, but like since I was youth myself, I've worked
Right.
and volunteered with, I refed and coached and everything with that program. Still, they won't listen though and update the rules. Here's the rules of soccer in Clinton, Illinois, where I live. Mo, are you ready for this? First of all,
Go
let's
right.
see. I keep saying recently, but it's not recently because it was after my daughter was born, but she was walking. So she's 14 now. So maybe about 12 years or so ago, we finally got a piece of land that we can make a makeshift outdoor pitch on. Cool, great, better than nothing. But still, largely it's indoor because everybody's afraid of the cold. And so you get this. This is the rules. All right. You stay on this half of the court or the pitch. You are a forward. If you stay on this half of the pitch, you are a defender. But if you're a rover, you can run anywhere. And like the rules, that's it. What this would do is come in and be like, okay, 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 we get it. Okay. So you can make it as simple or complex as you want. Yimmy is the director of coaching over at Peoria FC United. And Yimmy actually has his own rec program. I forgot if he talked about it on your podcast or not. I know we've only dropped 2 episodes, so I forgot what the other two have in it,
I
but
think
just
maybe
so we
three.
can recap it.
Oh yeah, three.
3, 4? Okay, I don't know, however many. I don't care. But however many. Yimmy oh yeah, because you posted them an hour at a time. That's right. Because you had said like
Yes.
30 minutes at a time, but then you posted an hour at a time. Yeah. Anyway, so Yimmy
It was
created.
too good to divide them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yimmy created a rec program over in Peoria that not only had a very successful first year, but he turned, I think, give or take 30 kids to the club program. And then not only refilled those 30, give or take, spots that those kids went on to club, but and then some because his program was so cool and so good and so successful, like it spread the word and it's growing. So he's testing Super Coach over there with his parent volunteers in that program. So Yimmy could go in and he could set, let's say, his U12s. Let's say the U12s for this rec program. And he could say, here is the training, whatever that looks like, right? You can get it detailed, not blah, 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 blah. Within that training, then everyone can go into the app, coaches, players, parents. You can pull up each particular skill. You can pull up each drill. You can pull up, I mean, just it makes it's a for dummies. I don't know if you've heard of like the for dummies books.
Yeah,
Like
all of them.
I'm a
Yes.
person that I'm very intelligent. Like that's the one thing that people compliment me on, but also there's so much going on up in my brain at all times that I want a step by step to make sure that I'm not missing anything, right? Like, and I also just love to know everything. I'm curious. My brain wants to know the how and the why. Why are we doing that? Why do I need to do it that way? Why are we doing it that way? Is there a better way? Like, like that's just how my brain works, like it or not. So I like this would be great for a coach that is like somebody like me who doesn't if they didn't know soccer though like if I were to go and coach I would need this for like a lacrosse. I love lacrosse. I love to watch it. I get the basic gist of it, right? I get your basic rules or like you
That's
like
a whole
cricket, so I'll
nother
use
thing.
cricket. Okay, I'll use cricket. I'm sorry, like yeah, you like cricket, so I get the basic rules of cricket. Like I get it, but I could not effectively coach even at a volunteer youth level Because I would just be like,
Yeah, me neither.
all right, there's them paddle things, kids. There's some paddle things and some balls, right? But if there was a super coach for cricket, like I would be one hell of a coach and I'd be fucking winning championships because that's how I am as a person. I'd be studying that stuff and and hopefully then, it doesn't put any pressure on any kids that don't want to play at a higher level. So it solves problems in areas like mine where like I am a kid who would have wanted to go and play at club or play for my high school, right?
Right.
Here, our high school, literally, our athletic director doesn't even have faith in our athletes and won't even entertain a co-op because then we would have to play against Morton, which is a team that or a school that does have a strong program. And it's ridiculous and it's sad that he doesn't have faith in them. I do, and that's why Junction exists. But it's great for places like this where what's the point of having a league if you're not even playing anywhere near the rules? Why are you investing in the equipment? Why are you investing your time? Why are you investing everyone's valuable time and resources? Right? Like, if it was
Yeah,
cricket,
maybe
you
it's
know
just
what I'd
like
be doing,
break.
Mo? You want to know if you told me, Abby, here you go. Here's my platform, right? And here's some a rec cricket program, and I just want to see how this goes. I'm going to film this. Here's everything you need to play a match of cricket. Here's the nicest facilities you need. Here's the top of the line training equipment, top of the line weightlifting equipment, top of the line everything you need to perform at I mean, recreational, but still, let's just for sake of argument and dramatics,
You still need
a
it.
top end cricket team.
You still,
If I were to go
yes.
out there and try to coach that thing, you know what I'd be doing, Mo? I'd be having that paddle and I'd be like yanking the ball up and just like trying to like it wouldn't be going well. There'd be kids hitting each other. It'd be a mess. And we all be crying. I'd be crying, right? So if there was a super coach for cricket, though, that'd be game changing for cricket in America. I would feel so solid because then, as you said, the people who don't know the sport but have the skills to make things happen. Because like
Yep.
that's a push that I have. Is Adam is not a he is now, but he was not a soccer person. He's Junction's vice president because he's got the skills. And I knew he's a sports
That's
nerd and he'd
typically
pick up
what it
soccer in
is.
no time, you know. But
Yeah.
that's where it comes into this. We don't have cricket here. We don't have soccer here. They're interchangeable. I'll keep using cricket because I'm unfamiliar with it. We don't have cricket here, but I have the skills to form, I mean, as we can see, a whole club, but like for sure a rec league, for sure a youth rec league, for sure an adult rec league, for sure a pickup league, right? And so if it's as simple as downloading an app that's, a couple bucks a month to put on something that's going to be so impactful in the community, why would you not? It's a no-brainer. So like behind the scenes in my full-time work, like that's the type of stuff that's kind of fallen into my lap is I do a lot of consulting for organizations and for apps and for products and for I mean I'm in a multiverse, but um I'm so blessed to be bringing these cool because super coach is just the one that I can talk about. Like I've posted about it and stuff, so it's not a secret. Um
Yeah,
hold
there's a
on. Zach
handful
Fisher
of
just
I
hold
think.
on. Zach Fisher from AFC Columbia. One second. One second.
Okay.
Hold on. Zach's on. He just DM'd and he said I just missed it. Oh,
She's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back. All right, so let's see. Do we have anyone come and join us? Oh, she's coming back. Maybe.
hold on. I'm trying to invite Zach. I'm trying to find the link. Hold on.
She'll be back. We're just taking a little break. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But one of the nice things it says that the stream is perfect. And we just hit 200 subscribers. Look at this, look at that. Who would have thought? Yes, I know it's almost almost midnight, but talking soccer is fun. And with that, say I'll be right back.
Damn it. Did it again. I swear to God. Swear to God. I'm so sick of fighting with this phone stand. Mo, where are you at? There
I'm
you are.
right here.
Oh, yeah. Got Zach.
Speaking of,
Zach.
hello.
Hello.
This is Zach.
How
Zach,
are you?
meet Mo. Mo, meet
Zach?
Zach from AFC Columbia.
Can you hear me?
AFC Colombia sounds very familiar.
Oh yeah, been around for 4 years now.
Uh, yeah, I don't think I've watched any of you guys game, but I think through Twitter, I think I've had quite a few people promoting your team and all of the, guess the events that are or games that you are coming up.
Yeah, we have a lot of games in St. Louis. We play Ajax. We play. Same as Junction. We play Ajax and Stars and Club Atletico. So in the Midwest Premier League, we're I think the fourth oldest club in the state now because I think Atletico demise in uh, I think actually maybe the third oldest in the state now that Lions doesn't exist. So good conference
Ooh.
in St. Louis. We go over there quite a bit and good competitive games.
Yes, I think I have plans to watch some of these games, especially now that there's Stars Atletico, STF Fusion, and Etihad. So it's going to be a very long summer.
Yeah, lots of content for you.
That's my
Fusion in the UPSL. You've also got 314 Soccer Club in the UPSL.
yeah.
And then you've got right across the road, you've got Etar and MPSL. So lots of different leagues, lots of different clubs. When we first started 4 years ago, there was only Lions and Maritza and Atletico. So there were only three clubs. Now I think St. Louis has got 6 or 7. So lots of people to talk to, lots of different clubs. Growing game.
Oh yes, and I think I was it on Sunday. Did we did go and watch STF Fusion against City Academy at City Park. So that was to kick off the long summer.
Yeah, who won that game?
I think City Academy won 2-0.
2-0. That's good though for Fusion to keep it close.
Yes, and I did see that the goalie, the part that we watched, the actual goalie of Fusion stopped a PK from one of the players from City. So that was impressive.
Yeah, City Academy was national runner up for UPSL last year, so they've got a good team. We don't play them this year, but hopefully sometime down the line. We have a former intern with our club works for City in the ticket office. So, and actually, when we first started back in 2020, one of the first calls we got was from Vin at St. Louis City, wishing us well and asking if City could support in any way. So we've always been really appreciative of the city and really wish them well. And a lot of the people in Columbia are City fans. It's kind of a split city. We've got a lot of sporting fans, a lot of City fans. So
Yes.
we wish both teams well. We kind of stay out of it. let the supporters
Yeah,
fire. Yeah, but we wish them both well. We don't have any bad blood with any of the teams, or we've never played obviously any of those clubs in any competition. So we just hope that people that are local to Columbia will support Columbia, and then when they're watching MLS, they'll watch whoever they want and go from there.
So I guess so you're pretty much like the Switzerland of Missouri. So you just stay right there
We're-
out of trouble and just
Yeah,
the friendly neighbors.
we're the Switzerland of all of Mid Missouri because a lot of Mid Missouri has local youth rivalries or high school rivalries, and we stay out of it as much as possible. We hope to be the neutral ground that people can come and watch 6, 7 home games in the summer and hopefully make a good atmosphere and play well at good soccer. We've finished second the first year and third this last year, so third or fourth, I can't remember, but really competitive team, and we just hope finally that we can win some trophies and beat Ajax and finally bring some hardware down. And we got Junction in the league this year, so we'll see what Abby's team has got going for her.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be like back down in the loop too. It's been really fun. Exhausting, but fun. Mo here is a girl dad too, so he's gonna look at watching the women's Missouri Reign, right? Missouri Reign.
Yeah, you guys are more than welcome to come out. We got at the women's side, the Missouri Reign. We played the AFC had our women's team last year, and it formed into the Missouri Reign this year. So we play Columbia College. It's not a far drive. You're always welcome to come out and check out the club and let us know you're coming out. And always happy to have you meet the team and meet the coaches and get some blue and green as our club colors are, and go from there.
Oh, he's got a Junction shirt already, though. He's already got a Junction shirt. Too late.
Yeah,
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, so we have a jersey launch. We have a jersey launch tomorrow, though, and I think that will turn some heads on some jerseys. So we're excited to hopefully have some more people in blue here soon.
Excited to see it, actually.
I'm addicted to jerseys, so there's some somewhere in this background, but it's not too bad.
You got to covered up by is it a green screen?
My girls are starting to be tired of I guess what was that? Our youngest, she was like, "Can we just watch girls soccer? Boys is like it's getting boring." I was like, yeah, we'll be making some trip to watching KC Currents, so maybe we'll just stop right in the middle and watch some Reigns games.
I would be surprised if St. Louis doesn't have a women's team in a couple of years, if not sooner than later. There's appetite for it.
Oh, it's floating around. And knowing that, the leadership team, it's all made of women, and I think every time we go to City Park, there's 2 or 4 little girls that just see anyone that has a City badge and just asking, why now we're going to have girls soccer. So
I was so impressed. Even at City too, there was so many young girls there. So I had my Her Game 2 book with me, and it was just such a surreal moment. Because I took it for a photo op for my friend Matt that wrote the book and mailed it over to me. But it was just crazy the amount of young girls that were at a City 2 match. Like, it was
They
insane.
outnumber the boys though. They
It was
outnumber
So
insane.
the boys.
I mean, but Missouri though, St. Louis especially, you have Fuse and you have Gallagher and you
Gallagher,
have
yeah.
well, Fire and Ice is a long time, lower league club that I think won a national title, was a power for a long time in the WPSL. So they have a lot of history of women's sports. Obviously, SLU's really good at women's soccer. SIUE is pretty good. Mizzou is usually pretty decent. So, I mean, you've got a lot of schools and clubs nearby in Missouri that are really good at women's soccer. So it makes sense. I mean, you've got so many D2s like UMSL and I'm blanking on some of the teams now, but McKendree's not too far. But Maryville, that kind of stuff, like a lot of good women's programs around the area. So Missouri's always going to have soccer fans. It's just a matter of finally getting the MLS team in, and hopefully an NWSL or a USL Super League, because now that's the Division I league too. So it's a matter of finding the right fit. And, what's best interest for them.
I'm pretty sure St. Charles FC will have a USL Super League for girls. I'm pretty sure they probably have something in the works.
I think it's,
as we know them.
Yeah, I think it's no secret that we still have to chat with her still though, but that Jen from Soccer Mom Pod and I are collaborating on a little bit of a something. Yes. Yeah. So
yes.
we're
she knows
using
them
this
all.
new. Yeah. So there's definitely some things going on down there in St. Louis, and Junction's platform that you're giving us, Mo, is gonna really, really give the game as a whole. I've called in. I mean, I got US. I mean, you both. I think I've told you both personally this, but just so the internet knows, the Junction podcast. We're not gonna just be Junction FC stuff. We're gonna talk everything. I got WPSL coming. Obviously, here's Zach coming hanging out with us. So that's your first other Midwest Premier League sighting in St. Louis football now. And so, not just from men's and women's.
City.
Him, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yes,
I forgot you didn't know him.
Yes, he's been telling me all this time, and I think every time I talked about lower league soccer, Columbia was his answer. So yes,
Totally forgot.
Yes, very consistent.
We like soccer here in Columbia. Hopefully, we can. Our goal this year, is to get 500, 600, 700 a game. I think we've been at about 250, 300 a game. So, but we're investing a lot into the game day atmosphere with hospitality suites. A lot more kids activities. We're playing night games for the first time. We've always played day games. But the night games will really bring in. It's hard to get people out when it's 100 degrees outside, but if we can get it down into the 70s at night, we'll get good crowds. So we'll be hopefully drawing more than everyone else not named City in the state of Missouri, and hopefully we can. It's kind of hard to outdraw City 2 and City 1, but obviously because of how great that stadium is. But yeah, we like to do it. Hopefully
we go everywhere. We go everywhere.
They really do.
Yeah, but honestly, in our conference, we play all the way from Iowa all the way down to Junction, and our first season we played in Kansas City. So we travel. Columbia travels. It's a matter of trying to keep those travel hours down. Adds up.
And Zach knows his stuff. Zach's one of the few people that has been in my back or my corner this whole time, helping me. He's really, Zach's particularly, has been a freaking godsend. I've blown his phone up so much. He really knows what he's doing. So Columbia's really got a good vibe and a good atmosphere. And so I definitely recommend you guys going and checking it out.
I'll
be there.
What day is Junction come here? Is it the 8th or the 1st? I think it's the 8th.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll have to look. Don't. Bryce is in Germany right now. So I have so much. He left most things in order, but I don't know a date. He handles all that. He's got it on lock. I just show up.
Well, we start training in 2 days, so we'll be ready for you guys when you come. We actually play our first game in St. Louis against Fusion. May 8th, I believe it is. And then so we'll be in town, so you have to come out and see our boys. We'll be in blue for that one. Blue with navy blue shorts and lime green socks, so we'll be ready to go.
Ooh.
And Get to see Fusion will be, have played several games at that point, so they should be in mid-season form. We returned a lot of players from last year, a team that should have probably won the conference, but we'll see how it goes. We'll get it going, and then we go May 15th. We go over to play our friends over in Santa Fe and Kansas City, and then Ajax for the I-70 Cup, the only soccer rivalry trophy at this level in the state. We'll play that on May 18th here, hopefully in front of a full crowd here in Columbia. That will be a game. If you want to see two games against clubs against clubs at this level, that's the one you want to see in our area. Our two teams do not like each other on the field. Off the field, we're good friends. Off the field, we're good friends, but on the field, those two teams do not like each other. They do have a rivalry trophy, which Ajax has won all 4 matches, unfortunately. But our team will be ready. We'll be amped up for that one. It should be a good crowd. It'll be a fun game. So if you're wanting to do an off-site thing to grow the podcast, we're always welcome to come out and see that one. And there is a women's game before that. The Reign do play a team out of I think they're from Tulsa in the WPSL. The day that during at 5 o'clock, 5 or 6, something like that.
And you say May 8th, right?
Yeah, the May 8th we play in St. Louis. That's a friendly against the UPSL side, Fusion, and then we play Santa Fe, and then May 18th is it's a Saturday, under the lights here in Columbia. Columbia College has got a beautiful soccer specific facility. You're right on top of the field, and we've got a great PI announcer. We'll have kids, local youth clubs will be out there. It'll be a good night. Awesome. We're one of the few clubs at this level that puts a lot of emphasis into making the atmosphere feel like a college atmosphere and feel like a professional when you come into it. So we put a lot of pride into that, and it's going to even be better this year. So we're pretty excited.
You ain't lying.
I guess since we have you here, so maybe I guess circling back a little bit of how your club came about. Could you tell us a little bit more about the story behind AFC Columbia?
Yeah, of course. So AFC Columbia, AFCC, whatever. I mean, we have so many. We have the Blues. I know a lot of people in St. Louis won't call us the Blues, but locals will call us Blues occasionally, depending on who you talk to. So my background's in college athletics. You can probably see all the lanyards on the wall. I could probably fill 4 of those hooks.
Is that Cincinnati and Nashville?
Well, those are scarves. So but all those lanyards up there are all NFC, NFL, SEC lanyards from colleges and stuff. So my background's in college sports. I have my master's degree in sports management from Tennessee. I was a director of marketing ticketing for several schools, and then I was an associate director of marketing at Mizzou. When I was at West Florida, though, I got our coach at the time was the head, or he's still a part of Chattanooga FC, which is a professional team in MLS Next Pro now. I had gone to school.
So you'll like it because I have the interview with one of their best defender from Chattanooga that will be dropping in a few days.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so that would be my first. I would say my first club because I went to school in Chattanooga originally before I was a Marine, and then so he was like, "Hey, check out this level of soccer." Actually, went to a Detroit City Chattanooga game back in the day, and then our women's coach, who's the winningest coach in Division II soccer history, he had a lot of his girls play WPSL, and I had no idea what WPSL was at the time. And he's like, yeah, there's a whole different level of soccer. So I was just kind of going to help out with them, but got a job here in Columbia. And November 2019 said, hey, let's just support the local club. There was no local club at the time. Obviously, there was no. Outside of sporting, there was really no soccer at this level in Missouri really at all. And so we got to talking with some other locals, and we decided on Twitter to start a club. That was unfortunately January 2020. Obviously, everyone knows what happened right after that. Really impacted the way we could start a club and just kind of grow organically. We're all community funded. We have local sponsors for local companies. We have a unique way we recruit people. So you have to be from Columbia, play at a local Columbia college, or live here currently. So we don't recruit players. We don't house players from outside of our area. Very rarely. We've only had 3 players play for the club that didn't fit that criteria. One was an accident. We didn't realize he wasn't from the area. One was we were doing an international student a solid and had him play goalkeeper, which is always a position of need. And then the other one was just circumstantial. We considered him a local just based on his circumstances. So we don't recruit, which puts us at a disadvantage because our player pool is a lot smaller, but we don't have a huge player pool like St. Louis per se. But it also gives the community someone to rally behind because all the players have a connection to the community. So we started playing at Battle High School in year 1 in the Midwest Premier League. So I'm actually the founding father, so to speak, of our conference. So I was the one who contacted the league and told them we wanted to build a conference in our area. So we started with 4 teams in year 1. We were up to 7 last year, and now we're at 8 this year. The core group of Ajax and us are really the 2 that have been around the longest in the conference. We're the original 2 of the 4. Santa Fe is taking a couple of years off as they go through some transition, and then Springfield FC came and went after year 1. They weren't a fit for us, but they are now in the UPSL and doing quite well, it looks like. So our 2 clubs have been kind of the rivals of the conference, and then we've added obviously St. Louis clubs and Atletico and Stars, and then we've got an Iowa division, basically an Iowa conference plus Junction as we grow Central Illinois in the soccer area. So that's kind of the history of our club. We're blue and green because our city's flag's colors are blue and green. It also, ironically, is the two of the best NAIA programs in the country, in Central Methodist and Columbia College, who are routinely in the Final Four. Happen to be blue, and one happens to be green. There's also 2 colleges down the road in Fulton named Westminster and William Woods. They are ironically also blue and green. One of them is blue, one is green. So it worked out color-wise. We've always played in blue. We've always played in blue tops. Last year we had green secondary color kits, but this year we'll be in blue for I think 13 of the 14 games. I think there's 1 game against Atletico where we'll wear green tops, which is will be an abnormality for us. But other than that, that's our club. Like I said, we play at Columbia College downtown. Seats about 500. You're right on top of the field. You're right downtown. There's a brewery 2 blocks away. The parking is, you're parking right there. We have a press box, scoreboard. We have everything you could want for a facility. Has four locker rooms. It's a great facility. So we're very fortunate that now our job is to make that a very unfriendly place for the visiting team, and hopefully we can win some games. And I should mention we have all volunteer operated club, including coaching staff. We have our head coach is in the Missouri Hall of Fame and is also the president of the Missouri Soccer High School Coaches Soccer or something, High School Coaches Association. So we've got a really good coach in that regards. And then we've got a player from, I think, every local college is on our team, including Mizzou's club team. We have at least 1 player this year. So including, and this is something I'm actually kind of proud of, Lincoln University, historically black college, City is starting a team up, and we have, I think, at least 2 players from that team. So as we help grow that program out, hopefully we are an asset to them as they keep growing. So every college in our area we're representing in some fashion. We've had last time we counted, we've had 13 different nationalities. We've had Lesotho, which was a really random one. We've had Democratic Republic of Congo. We've had the Netherlands. We've had England. We had some Caribbean islands too, but we've had a lot of different nationalities, which is also something kind of unique for us. I'm pretty proud of that. That's pretty much about Columbia. That's a really long rant. Sorry about that.
No, it's actually that's what kind of makes it fun. And especially for me, knowing that I guess where I come from, and when we just the Euro snobs, you will almost call them, where they're saying that there's not that much history of soccer, or there's soccer is not really that big in the U.S. One of those things that I'm starting to find out is that it's maybe that we only hear about the big one, which is the MLS, and then once you live a little bit longer in the U.S., you start to hear a little bit more about the USL because it's technically the second league of it, but then you don't really hear nothing else about the UPSL and others until you have someone that you know or familiar with that plays for that league. Then you start to get to learn from them.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean,
that's the reason why I know the Fusion is like a lot of the ambush players. Some of them play there. Former college players are now there. I know Etihad has ambush and some academy players. So it we're just becoming to start to know those teams just because they have one or two players that play with those semi-pro teams.
yeah,
So it's quite interesting to see how vast those clubs are, and it almost feel like in Europe where the smaller cities, for example, in Paris, where I'm from, you have the big Paris Saint Germain, which is PSG. Then you have the smaller Paris FC, who is well known as well. But then there's like maybe 100 smaller club within Paris that no one knows about. So it almost feels like you guys' club where it's all local. You have your own conferences, but that it's just not as promoted as the other
yeah, which is
teams
really weird. It's
before.
really odd for St. Louis. I mean, you have I think 10 or 11 U.S. Open Cups. You have SLU, who's got I
Yes.
think 10 national championships, and Missouri was one of the originals with the Anheuser Busch factory bringing a lot of German immigrants over and just being a soccer power. And so it's always funny as us being in the middle of the state, because you have Kansas City, who also likes to call themselves the soccer capital, and then you have
Yes.
St. Louis, who has an argument for it, and then it's just like we're just kind of here like we don't really care which one is the soccer capital as long as it's in the state of Missouri. So, but there's a lot of good. You talk about just not people not maybe not realizing the history, but like SLU and SIUE right across the river.
Yep.
Historically great soccer program. I think he's got like eight national titles or something. It's something ridiculous. But then
Yeah,
you
and they
then you
went
go in.
undefeated last year.
Yeah, I mean, great soccer in the state and in the St. Louis metro, but also you've got um, NAIA programs like Central Methodist, who's won two, Missouri's Valley just won one. Columbia College is usually always in the Final Four in some capacity. You've got Drury down not too far down in Springfield or around their area. I'm not really sure where Drury is. I'm not from Missouri originally, but you've got a lot of good soccer programs that are in the state, and just people because the Missouri State doesn't. Missouri is one of the few states that doesn't have a state association for adult soccer. It does technically, but it doesn't actually function in any capacity. We don't have a state cup where all the teams play each other. So that's something we'll have to combat down the year as we grow the clubs and the clubs start to grow even more. Trying to find a way to connect all the teams because you have USL2, you have UPSL, you have Midwest Premier League, you've got yeah, USL technically still exists. Well, in the next year or two, it probably won't exist, but it still exists now. But you have all these different clubs, different leagues, and they all say that they're the better league. But then you see them on the field, and they're like they're kind of all the same in some capacity. It's just a matter of which club is recruited better, and which club is financed better, and that's usually the difference. Not what league they play in, but yeah. As you grow, I think a lot of people, unless you're from Missouri, probably don't realize how much of a history Missouri has, which is kind of cool.
No, I did not know until I started to have more friends around the soccer, the Missouri soccer, and all your college friends went to this team, that team, and play indoor soccer, and then it just I guess depending on the season, you that's when you see which team they play for. So that's what kind of made it. I think the past 3.5 years kind of interesting to see all of us, getting out of college or friends that have kids getting out of college and starting to pursue maybe becoming pros or semi-pro. That and that's where the team's starting to pop up, and you start to learn a little bit more about you know the opportunities that you have that um, I guess us old folks did not have a few years back.
Well, like I said, when we started AFC, I mean, you had the team in Springfield, you had a team that had just started in Kansas City, and then there were Maritza, who had mostly ambush players, and then you had Lions, and then Atletico at that point was pretty new, but had just started. I think had played a season. I mean, there's 5 teams. I think 5 teams. Lions ended up becoming St. Charles, but not a lot of teams in the comparative. Where if you go up to Chicago and they have 50 clubs in Chicago. So it's really interesting that for whatever reason, St. Louis and Kansas City have not developed the same amount of clubs, where you've got a lot of historic clubs up in Chicago and in that area. And then you just, for whatever reason, the two of the most historic soccer cities in the country just don't have lower league clubs. So it's not a part of the culture. There's not a huge city league. There's not a huge following. So it's kind of really odd that those didn't develop the way they did, but they're starting to boom now. And I think when we look back and we say in 5 years, where are clubs now, I bet you there's 15 teams in St. Louis. All these youth clubs will found teams. You'll have a bunch of culture-based clubs. If it's you tend to see like the Central America countries will form a culture club, and then you'll have an African diaspora club, or however you say that word, and then you'll have like a Croatian, Albanian club. Those seems to be the culture clubs that kind of form first, and then they kind of spawn into other clubs. And I mean, that's how the sport has grown internationally. Why didn't it grow the same here in St. Louis and in Columbia? And I'm excited to see in about 5 to 6 years how many clubs are there, because I think people are starting to realize that you can do it. It's not that expensive if you can find the right sponsors and right people to run it with you, and it'll just make the travel much better, and the rivalries will grow. And then once the rivalries grow, interests will grow. So we're still at the very front end of this. I think when you look back and you're like, hey man, I was on this podcast 5 years ago and we only had this amount of clubs, and now we have this amount. Just how much that audience will grow and how much interest will keep growing in this. And St. Louis City, hats off to them. I know it's a completely different level, but them bringing into the city also showed that there is soccer. Like, it's only going to grow interest in soccer. It's not going to make it any worse. Like, I disagree with people who say MLS is killing soccer. They are in some regards, but more interest is only good for everybody. The more people that are watching soccer is good for the whole. Now, how we utilize that funding is differently, and how we treat our national team is differently, but the rest of it's only going to be good for their soccer. But there you go.
Yeah, I think that the biggest part I saw with the whole MLS thing is, I think as the teams themselves starting to maybe create their own identity outside of it. I guess I can only speak of like City because we're closer ties to them. Where I guess Abby probably saw that the whole cornhole tournament where we had what 15, maybe
A
20
whole bunch of
supporter
people.
groups and
Yeah, tons of
podcasters,
supporter groups.
and we all talk to each other. We all collaborate. So it's one big community of soccer, and we all talk
And
about
everyone
different
was quick to
things.
point out everyone else. That was different in St. Louis. In St. Louis, like, you would do like a real quick greeting, like, oh, I do this, oh, I do that. And then the conversation would go to, have you met? Like, it's always about like everybody else down there, which I love.
Except for people in St. Louis love to tell you about St. Louis. They don't like to talk about the rest of the state. So we'll see how that's where our rivalry comes in. Is the state. The fun fact about, like, you start talking about like growing soccer in the state, is that the city of St. Louis tends to draw in the best talent from the state. People will drive a lot of hours to go play for the St. Louis Cubs, because historically Central Missouri has been pretty awful at soccer. But now what you're seeing is a lot of tribalism in the Central Missouri area, which is how our club is allowed to exist. Is you have a lot of people who want to beat those St. Louis teams, so that now that they're forming. Now, we can't go city for city because Columbia just by itself could not beat St. Louis in probably in competition. But when you combat all of the small towns around us in Jeff City, and you kind of combine one team, now we can be competitive with them. So it's been, it's going to be fun to see how those grow in the future, to see how not only the St. Louis rivalries happen, but Springfield and Columbia, and to an extent Kansas City. People in Kansas City love to complain about St. Louis and vice versa, but especially about barbecue. But but it's just fun to see those rivalries, and we kind of are the club for the Central Missouri area, Mid Missouri, and they don't like each other. Coming from someone who's not from this state, I'm from Indiana. There was no soccer growing up where I was from, and they're just now starting to get clubs now nowadays. But it's fun to see how these kids will go drive 2 hours and play for the St. Louis clubs in their youth days. But once they get into college and they stop being involved with those clubs, how much they don't like those clubs, which is really weird to me, how they are, because of the way that St. Louis is perceived to talk to those kids and talk to those high school kids and how they interact with them. They're viewed as not as good as the St. Louis clubs for whatever reason. So it's really easy for us to recruit kids here to play against them because they want to beat them. So you can't really do that in high school
that's a
because
good recruiting tool, right?
What's that?
So it's a good recruiting tool, right?
Yeah, because like you have these,
I could see that.
you have the public high schools that are by themselves are probably, I mean, they're competitive at the state level. Like Rockbridge especially is competitive at the state level. But if you combined them all together, we could play with the best of the St. Louis teams. And that's kind of our mission, is to combine all of the local small clubs into, one, all the high schools, I should say, not the clubs, because we don't really get involved with the youth clubs. And we have a sporting Kansas City youth club in town here. So we don't want to say anything negative to them. It's just combining the talent of one area to play clubs in there is a lot easier than taking these 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 high schools and trying to, individually play the St. Louis. The St. Louis clubs can, their support system and how many they kind of merge all the best players into, high schools, and it's really hard for them to compete at the high school level. But when you start getting to our level, where you can recruit and you can do all these things, it makes for fun rivalries. And these kids all know each other. They play each other in youth soccer. They play each other in high school. They play each other in college soccer, or they play on the same teams in college, or they play on the same teams in youth. So there's very rarely will we play a team from St. Louis where we don't know, the kids don't know each other, or they don't know, they haven't played against them, or so and so. And so it's fun to see those. Like I said, I didn't play here. I didn't grow up here. I don't know any of those high schools, but when we travel there, we know so and so. We know this guy. We know this guy. We know this, and so it's kind of fun to see it. Now, can we keep our emotions in check and make sure that we've only had 2 red cards in 2 years. One of them was a coach, and it was against Ajax. I would say that the Ajax player that got him the red card probably deserved to be kicked out of the league, but that's a whole nother debate for another time. And then we had a red card against, probably deserved red card against Santa Fe. And both were in our first season. We had no red cards last year. So we haven't lost our tempers, but I'm sure that several times our players have wanted to lose their tempers. So, and those Ajax games do get feisty. They are.
Oh, geez. So good to know. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they've been relatively. They've been relatively clean games for the most part. It's just the jabber. It's just the talking, and they talk to each other. Their coaches talk to our coaches, and vice versa. And but the best part about that is that we're the 2 original clubs in the conference. We get along really well off the field. Actually, we're actually decently good friends in the soccer space, and we want to grow the league. And it's just when they play each other, it's, hey, I like you, we're good friends, but when we play for those 90 minutes,
that's like friends. You got one of my guys. You got one of my old players. So for 90 minutes, he's dead to me. So Michael.
Michael Hansen. Yeah, Mike. Well, 90 plus, whatever it is. Michael Hansen's a great guy. Plus, played for us last year. Is one of what makes us a little bit more unique than the St. Louis Club. Most of the St. Louis teams are going to be college players for the most part. We tend to be a little bit older. We tend to have 6, 7 guys that are out of college who are just here locally that want to stay in shape and want to stay competitive. So we'll tend to be a little bit older, and Michael Hansen's one of that group, and that really kind of grounds us because we do skew from high school to about 26. Gaza's actually, I think, 32, so I think he's our oldest player. Gaza's like a freight train when he runs into people. He's a good guy. He's just he looks intimidating. I always tell Gaza, and he's not the most like. Once you get to know him, he's a goofy guy. But when you look at him, when you talk to him the first time, you just like, I think this guy's gonna punch me. Like I think he looks like one of those guys, and then you get to talk to him. we get talking to him, especially him and Gershom are talking to each other, and it's good to get to know the players and that kind of stuff. These are the stories that the podcast needs to tell. We need to tell the stories about these players. So
Yeah, I know. That's what. Well, that's
known.
I told my players. Junction players know for sure. Like, first of all, you both know I hate this. Actually, ironically, very introverted. I'm a theater kid, which means I like a script. And improv comedy itself is a skill. Like you train. You have rehearsals for improv. Like it's still an art and a craft. So like this stuff is actually just not my strong suit. And I've told all the kids, all the players, even the families. We have a couple of players whose families are really cool. Like Bryce's dad, for example, founded Mid-State Decaters Club. And, we have one of our women's players' mom is like a really influential woman. Actually, one of our women's players' mom is in the Senate and is very influential in diversity and inclusion and accessibility and stuff. And then another one of our women's players' moms is very locally influential in like the women's side of like community and the business and stuff. And so I'm just like really excited to kind of have this cool, I don't know, multiverse platform for just everyone to come hang out. Just whoever wants. I'm already strategically planning some. So like we're going to do some pre-recorded stuff to always have content, but like we want to do roundhouse stuff like this. So I already have like combinations in mind because you know me, I'm very strategic. You also know how to cast to put on the people together. So I already have like who needs to be on the same episode to get a good conversation going and stuff like that. So I really hope the players do come on and talk about themselves and like, just their stories and maybe what their goals are and like what they're currently doing to kind of, not everybody wants to go pro out of lower league. So, we have some guys that are just, having fun while, I don't know, I can't really think of I don't want to give anybody's information off the top of my head, but they're your normal dudes. They're your normal dudes. There's normal dudes that just want to play some soccer. And in our case, they have no other option, but there are guys like that other places. And so to have people tell them their stories and that's the big thing nowadays is storytelling because I'm a people person. You are too. So this kind of thing is just amazing.
And I told you before too, I'm one of those quiet person too. If you walk by if I was to walk by you in the street, I probably would have one of those awkward look that maybe I know
AirPod
I recognize you, but I probably will still keep walking. But the moment we talk about soccer, then things changes very quickly, and then now we're besties because.
You just need to get as many of those friends that you meet on the street to get into the Ajax games, into the Atletico games, into the Stars games, and get some good atmospheres. I think the more people that can get to the games, the better the clubs will get because the more interest will be there. And I'm going to be biased, obviously, to our league, but obviously you want to get St. Charles when they're playing their games. You want to get Etzar when they're playing their games, Fusion, etc. So more games, the better.
All on that list.
Yes, you got to get out. I want to see. This is what I want, though. This is what I want to review. I want a review of who has the best atmosphere, who does the best game day. I want to list a St. Louis list of the non-pro side. So I don't need to. We know St. Louis City's got a great environment, great stadium, all that. But I want to know who had the best PA announcer, who had the best concessions, who had the best crowds. I want to know who these things are. So when you go into these, I saw that you were at the St. Louis City game, and I was like, I wonder what that game day was like. I wonder if it was fun to watch. Did they charge ticket prices? I want to know all these things so that I can make my club better. Selfishly, I want to know how we stack up against them.
Yeah.
I think we have probably the best non St. Louis City atmosphere in the state, but until I see them all or I see reviews from them, I don't know. So. We'll see.
That's good. You know what? You
see why Zach and I have I like Zach's input.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
the
good because
experience.
among ourselves, also those that have I guess following and doing podcasts. So I do know quite a few people that are planning on doing trips, especially during the MLS Leagues Cup, which is not going too well because of the whole U.S. Open Cup. So I do know that there's a lot of those folks that will be traveling all across the state and out of state to watch games.
So you gotta
So
tell them. You gotta tell them.
that
I mean, there
point,
needs to be a Midwest Premier League, lower league podcast or a St. Louis soccer scene where you guys just cover all of St.
let's do it.
Louis and
Yeah, it's
have
called
the
the
clubs on.
Junction Podcast.
Yep. So, this is what you got to do. You just got to do, you know, if it's a weekly every Tuesday
Well, you're
night.
biased.
I am
You're
very
biased,
biased,
Abby. Yeah.
two, you just got to have hey, we're gonna have a player on from the player of a week, whoever the player of the week award is from whatever club it is, and just have them
That'd be
talk
great.
about their club and what's going on. And we'll definitely make sure AFC players, if that ever becomes a thing, make sure that our coach is available or our players are available or something, whoever it is,
Yeah.
to whatever helps grow not only the game but the podcast and awareness, and hopefully gets more people to games. We need more people to the games. So
Well, that's kind of
Uh,
our goal with the
since
Junction Podcast is to be all things.
so this is recorded, so I will take notes on that because I think that's probably an awesome way to promote all of those
Lower
teams.
leagues.
Because I
yeah, I
think
mean,
because
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that we have also is that not only that we want to brag about our pro teams being good, but I think probably the biggest goal that you want to have too is like saying that your state is better than others. Because I do know that the leagues that I've watched so far, I could say Florida and Texas, their lower leagues teams are like crazy good, and we're talking players that were former professionals overseas, and they just kind of moved to the warm countries, states. So that's why their Florida and Texas are like crazy good leagues. So they kind of have that upper hand that says, our local team, we have three former professionals, and some of them play in the top leagues in France that I know. I have a group of friends in Florida that have their own team. I think six of them played in Ligue 1, which is the top league, and four of them played in Ligue 2. So they were pretty much professionals, and now they're just playing soccer just for the fun of it. But so it kind of be nice to say, hey, even though Kansas City and St. Louis always brag about being the capital of, how about Missouri has some of the best, not only pro but semi-pro and amateur teams, and then they can play in the whole UPSL national game where we watch CD Academy play against a teammate from
Yeah.
I believe California, where those guys were former professional players and college pros, and they only beat academy kids. I think it was what 3-1. So it's like
close, yeah.
how
Yep.
so it's like how nice is it that they only beat academy kids 3-1 where they had former professional players. So just imagine if we could have other teams that are not related to the professional team that have
Heck
pro
yeah.
coaches and all of the nice facilities
Yeah,
possible.
and I'll say that there's a growing podcast group in St. Louis. There's a couple of podcasts now that I know, at least I've
There's
seen or
quite a
things.
lot.
Yeah, so trying to stand out in a crowd. I know the league. I know clubs would always promote podcasts if they had 5 second or not 5 second, 5 minute little snippets. I'm sure that you could crop it and share it on social media, and you could also, hey, this podcast was out reviewing our game to see how our atmosphere was and how we did. This was our grade. This is how you watch their review. Give a little review of the club. Clubs are always looking for ways to promote themselves. So if there were
Do you
more
guys have?
eyeballs,
Do you know
yeah.
any podcasts in like the Columbia area that, or maybe
We don't.
kind of promote that?
No, we don't have any in Columbia. I mean, there've been a couple that have come and gone, but nothing that's really stuck. There was the Missouri soccer podcast, I believe. Missouri Soccer Guy, I think is what it was, but I think that kind of came and went during the pandemic. But There's not really a podcast that covers our conference. The Chicago areas have, a lot of eyeballs on their stuff, and then the Detroit teams have a lot of eyeballs on theirs. But our conference has always been kind of the redheaded stepchild, and there's not really been an interest in covering it. But there's always interest from the league standpoint to promote it, and it's just a matter of whoever wants to organize it. So you don't want a podcast to become from one club. You want it to come from a neutral observer. And I'm sure hey, if anyone covered our club, we would promote the heck out of it. We want people to know about us and know about our players and what we're trying to do. And I mean, we play a game in June on the 22nd, Special Olympics game, and we want to know people, how we highlight others in our community. So there's always interest from a league standpoint and a club standpoint to promote more. It's just a matter of who's going to do it, who's going to focus on this, and who's going to focus on that, and how to do it.
June 22nd. That's my birthday.
Happy
early birthday. 4 months in advance. 3 months in advance.
Yes. And
Zach's going to promise a AFC Columbia win for your birthday.
I don't. Well, let me see who we play first, and then we can go there. I think we play. I don't even know who we play that day.
Zach's gonna promise an AFC Columbia one hell of a match day experience for your birthday.
We can provide a great game day experience, but I don't know who. We play. We play the Stars at home that day, so it'll be a St. Louis team.
And then St. Louis City plays also on it. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
You got to. Well, I don't say that we're going to beat a St. Louis City atmosphere, but we can have a great lower league atmosphere.
I don't even compare those. It's just
it's just different.
And I think that's also the whole point of what I'm doing here is even though I do a lot of the city promotion, podcasts and all that, but this one it just came about just talking about soccer in general. It just happened that city, I guess there's a little bit more of it, but Abby can attest. I watch soccer from pretty much as long as the ball is rolling and there's people kicking it. I'm there.
Well, I will end on this because I need to head to the bed. I do know Paris FC from the women's side because Chelsea played them in the Women's Champions League, and so I hope you're not a Paris FC fan. I will do apologize for our women blues. What's that?
I'm just related to them because of Paris, but I am a Chelsea fan first.
Yes.
Let's see. I am a Chelsea fan as well. I was in Stamford Bridge 2 years ago. I am a Chelsea supporter. I do support Luton Town too, which is kind of random, but Chelsea. So we our women's. You talk about women's pioneers in soccer. Chelsea's obviously one of those that is one of the first clubs really in England to promote women's soccer. Fortunately, Arsenal did too, but I think Chelsea has kind of surpassed them at this point. And obviously Emma Hayes coming over, who, if you want a connection to Emma Hayes, obviously Peter Wilt knows Emma Hayes from time in Chicago. So that's a guy you need to get on the podcast. You need to get Peter Wilt.
I'll get you, Peter.
Former GM for the Chicago Fire and founder of Forward Madison and Indy 11. And
persuaded me to keep doing Junction. He's the one that gave me the homework, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'll get you on. I'll get you, Peter. He's cool. He loves doing this too. He loves podcasts.
If I just get a hi from Emma, then you just made my whole year, and then we'll be good.
I told my wife we were gonna go when we go back. We're gonna go back to Europe at some point in the near future, and I told her I said I really just want to go to a Chelsea women's game at Kings Meadow, and I want to go against when they play Arsenal. But now they're starting to play more of the women's games at Stamford Bridge because attendance is going up. So you can't play Arsenal, and you can't really play City. They seem to play Manchester United at Kings Meadow now, but I think a lot of those games are going to be moved to Stamford Bridge because the attendances are 20,000, 30,000 a game. So it's going to be hard to play at Kings Meadow a lot going forward. But
from a Herd Game 2 standpoint, I can tell you that it can because we actually I don't know if you saw today or yesterday, I forgot. We started posting. We've been doing a lot of statistical because in the UK, Herd Game 2 is like massive. We've got massive awards. We got tons of awards. We got like legit people here. We're still growing. But we started posting our stats and our data that we've been collecting with all these people I don't want to misquote who it is, but that is it. That the attendance is just booming. There's just almost every week it seems it's
Well,
like record number, record number, record number.
I think that had something to do with the Lionesses Euros
Uh-huh.
from
Oh
2
yes.
years. Was it 2 years ago now?
Yep.
But Chelsea,
100%.
I'm gonna brag on my first club love, I should say. My first club love was DC United, but my European club love. One of the first teams to really invest into it with players and support facilities. I know people don't like Ibrahimovic very much, but he was always a big advocate of women's soccer and investing into players and wanting to win the league. And I think Chelsea and unfortunately Arsenal and unfortunately in some regards Manchester City are some of the original stalwarts and will grow the game for women's soccer quite well. And I think a lot of those teams are now starting to play their games at their main facilities. But you also look at you're talking about just where the sport has to grow. You still have clubs like Everton who play at a small facility. QPR play at basically a park, basically. Arsenal play at Bournemouth, but that's still not a big facility by any means. But vast differences in club investment, and you're going to start seeing more and more clubs that are going to build, start playing their own ground, which is good. Be good for everyone. But I will end on that and wish you guys the best of wishes. And
thanks for coming.
Yeah, and
this was fun.
And what I'll do is I'll send you the website stlsoccernews.com.
Oh yeah. They're good.
Our good friend Chris, he's the one that runs that website. So he combines everything that has to do with soccer in Missouri and Illinois. So that's probably who will need Zach for you to connect. So maybe have your space on there too, so he can add all of those information from Midwestern League.
All I ask is spread the word tomorrow. Jersey launch. One of our players designed the jersey. It's a really cool jersey. Abby's seen it, so if you see it, tweet it, retweet it.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say that though.
Put it on there.
Just send it to me. Yeah,
it's
just send it to me, and I'll blast it everywhere.
It'll be at noon tomorrow. And just follow. If you don't follow AFC Columbia, if you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, however you.
And I'm following you, so we're good.
Yes, I think I already follow you, so we're good. So just follow. But this is our first real push for a jersey in the club's history. We had a jersey designed by Icarus 2 years ago. We sort of promoted it, didn't really. It was just we were still so new that a lot of people didn't know we existed. But now we're more of an established club, and this is our first. It's by Hummel. Hummel is the maker of the kit. So we're really excited for it, and hopefully people. If you're watching this, we'll have bought one and supported the club so we can exist. So it's always nice to exist.
We'll take care of it. We'll blast it tomorrow noon.
Yeah. Yep. And for the record, I was not holding out STL St. Louis. I have not even got to have a formal conversation with him yet, besides in passing. So I wasn't holding him out yet. I wasn't keeping him secret. I hadn't got there.
No,
he's great. He'll be great to push or to help push the league. For sure. So we'll make sure we get connected with him and get him on.
Grow the game. Continue doing what you're doing. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you guys later.
Yes,
see you later, y'all.
Very soon.
I'm going to bed. Bye.
I have more work to do.